Okay, so that's pretty much. And then when I tell physical wellness doesn't only pertain to exercise or diet, it also includes taking care of your skin, taking care of your hair when you're in your 20s. Because everyone feels, okay, it's okay, I do this, I do that. And however, whatever you do in your face and your skin, the skin is the largest sense organ in your body. So if you're going to look after your skin when you're in your 20s, trust me, your skin will look after you even when you're in your 70s. So the basic thing about diet is drink a lot of water. It's very good for your skin. It keeps your skin hydrated, fresh, young. Again, skin care, if you're going out with makeup or whatever, make sure you're removing all your makeup in the night. Moisturize your skin after your bath. The night, use your night creams. Pamper your skin. Because trust me, it goes along a long way. Don't say that only when I'm 40 I'll start looking after my skin. Start it right now when you're in your 20s. Similarly, hair care, make sure if God's blessed you with good hair, you're lucky, good for you. But if you're not blessed with good genes, make sure that you're pampering your hair. Hair is as good as skin. The way you put sunblock and sunscreens when you go out, your hair needs that kind of protection. It could be physical. So protect your hair from the UV damages of the sun. So my next journey is emotional wellness. No one sleeping? I heard Michelle Obama's forward. How many of you have seen it? I was very impressed. She was a dean. I mean, I heard the speech as her last speech as a first lady, and she was a dean of a college before she before she became the first lady. And she talks about determination. This beautiful video forward which I saw talks about her experience as a dean, where she got to see children, students of all state of life joining in, and there were those kids who came from rich backgrounds. So they had the tuition fees paid, they had fancy cars which dropped them, they were given the best dorms because the parents could afford all that. But what happened when a pampered child got the first knock, a bad knock in terms of bad grade? They just fell apart. And what made a difference? The ability to get up, brush, and move forward and develop that muscle of determination. I found it such a valuable lesson because determination, the spirit to move on, the spirit to say that it's okay, I've had bad grades, I've had a bad relationship or whatever, but the determination to not let it bog you down, the ability to develop that muscle which is going to tell you that I'm getting up, I'm shrugging off, I'm brushing my failure off, and I am going to move forward no matter what. That's determination. I want you to write this somewhere in the bottom of your heart or in your note or whatever. Don't compromise, just fight. You will be able to develop this muscle of determination. The second aspect over here I'd like to speak is on patience. Gautam Buddha was hungry one morning and he was dying to have water. He sent his disciples to a nearby lake to fill water and bring it for him. Incidentally, at that time, a chariot had passed through the water and the water had become murky. So when they filled up the pitcher with water and brought it, it was murky water. So Gautam Buddha said, okay, go back after 10 minutes and try getting the water again. The disciple went after 10 minutes, came back. The water was still murky, but little less murkier than before. Gautam Buddha said, go again. He went after 15 minutes and he repeated this a couple of times till he came back with good, clear water. And so what happened when Gautam Buddha, he asked him, did you learn anything from this exercise? He said, no, master, I just waited for the mud to settle and here I got you lovely water for you. So he said that anger, hatred, negative emotions are this murkiness in the water. When you're exposed to emotions like this, be patient for that to settle down. In life, sometimes, going back to my first question, there is provocation against all angles. Someone would say something and you get so angry, you just want to immediately retaliate by saying something bad and mean immediately. Or there's something which makes you feel very bitter, and the best thing of getting bitter is to go raid your fridge, open your fridge and try to eat whatever is available. Or when you're upset over something, your first interaction is, till I do something, I'm not going to feel better. But always remember this parable somewhere in the back of your mind. Be patient. Wait for that emotion to settle down. Wait for that water to become clear and crystal. And then drink that water. It will go a long, 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 long way. So, determination, patience, and third, very important aspect I want you to remember when it comes to emotional or mental wellness is, are there days or nights when you have all cried into pillows, wet your pillows with your tears, saying that I am just not good enough, I'm given up? Have you ever faced it? I mean, whoever really has, raise your hands. Thanks for being honest. That's very encouraging. I have done it many, many times. In the night, feeling all alone, feeling extremely sad, not able to communicate with my parents, thinking my parents are going to feel very, very bad about it, helpless, crying yourself to sleep. Do that. It's not wrong. It's very human to do that. But when you're done with your crying and you feel a little better, tell yourself that no matter what, nobody in the world is going to tell you you're not good enough. Nobody has the position or can ever tell you you're not good enough. You might be born short, you might be born dark, you might not have the graces of maybe the topper of your class, you might not be an all-rounder in your college, you might want to go and dance on that stage or perform on that stage or be the best or see your colleague winning sports prizes because that person is so good in the track race. You might feel that I'm not good enough, everyone are just surging in front of me, and the feeling of self-pity and self-loathing takes over in such a way that you're totally down. God's created every one of you unique. Identify which is your positive, because there's something about you which your friend doesn't have. You identify that and tell yourself that no matter what the instigation, whatever anyone says, that you are the best. Will you do it for me? Will you talk to yourself and wipe those tears and say, this is enough, I've done with my crying, I poured out everything, and I am the best. Nobody, including my loved ones, is going to tell me otherwise. So that way, even when you come with a situation where there's some stress in your life, I've seen a lot of us getting into some kind of an addiction. It can be substance addiction or it could be drug addiction. Overcome that. Today there are so many ways of not getting into these attractions of trying out a new drug for the feeling of hallucinations or the feeling of exuberance unnaturally. Don't resist getting into this. But however, there probably sometime later I could, or anyone wants to meet me, there are many methods to overcome the desire. B, if you're into it, to tell yourself, recognize the early addiction symptoms, step back. Third, if you're way into it, you need a whole lot of things, but trust me, don't even try to get into that space.